Hello. I'll give everyone a minute to join in and get settled before we go ahead and get started. Hi, thanks for joining us. I'm going to wait for just another minute to let a few more of our registered attendees join. So if you are just joining in, you can go ahead and get settled. We'll go ahead and get started in just a minute here. All right, we'll go ahead and get ourselves going here. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Karen Young, and I'm the program manager for our conflict resolution program at UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education. We also have in our program, Monica Jackson. She's our program director. She's also responsible for a lot of the other courses that we offer within UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education in the land use, natural resources, and environmental planning areas. And she won't be joining us today, but I'm happy to field any questions over to her if you've got anything that I'm not able to answer today. And I'm on there as well. Again, if you're just joining us, my name's Karen Young. I'm the program manager for the conflict resolution program at UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education. So a bit of what we'll have going during this info session today. We'll have a brief introduction to the UC Davis Division of Continuing and Professional Education, or CPE, including our mission and history. We'll go over some specifics of the conflict resolution program and the courses and professional concentration that we offer, as well as how to plan your academic path. We'll go through one of our online courses and take a look at the tools that we use. We'll talk about assistance that is available for our students, and we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. And a quick note about our courses, since I'm sure some of you are wondering about this. Due to the pandemic, we are currently offering all of our courses online, and we expect to be offering the majority of our courses in an online capacity in the future, all contingent on how the pandemic goes. But we're committed to offering these courses safely for our students and our instructors. I'm going to go ahead and get us started with a quick poll so that we can learn a little bit about you. Give me a second to get this launched here. All right, so what we'd like to find out is, have you previously taken a class at UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education? And we used to be known as UC Davis Extension. So if that's where you first met us, then that counts too for this question. It looks like most of you have not. So that's great to see some new faces here. And it's also good to see some returning CPE students. All right, I'm going to close that poll. Thanks for that. It's always good to know a bit about you. And a bit about us. For those of you who are new to CPE, we are the lifelong learning arm of UC Davis. We provide learning opportunities that transform people, organizations, and communities. We've been providing quality education programs and professional development for over 50 years. And with more than 62,000 annual enrollments, we serve students locally and nationwide. We have enrollments from all 50 states and over 100 countries through our international program. And we also partner with, we use platforms like Coursera to allow international students and students even locally to take our courses in a variety of different ways. One more quick poll. We don't have too many for you here today, but it would be nice to know what brought you to this information session today. Are you looking for something in particular in our programs? Maybe professional development or a career change? Do you really enjoy learning and just want to expand your knowledge? Did somebody recommend this program to you, or is it something else that brought you in today? All right, it's good to see a whole bunch of different reasons in here today. It looks like most of you are here for professional development, but we do have some lifelong learners, some people looking for a career change, and just some folks who came for other reasons. All right. Thanks for participating there. And whatever it is that brought you to our info session here today, we're glad to have you. And I really hope that the information that I'm providing is going to be valuable for you. So getting through here. All right. A bit about the conflict resolution program that we offer. This program was built to prepare students to effectively use multiple different conflict resolution tools and techniques. Our courses include a mix of theory and practical applications and include plenty of time for hands-on practice, virtually, of course, and working through small groups to get through scenarios and sample projects. We really want our students to be able to apply what they're learning in the classroom environment, even if it is virtually, and we've been able to do that successfully even with the transition to online. Some of the topics and skills that we cover in our courses include theory and techniques for mediating conflicts, facilitation skills for conducting successful group meetings. That's something that we see draws a lot of students into our programs. Strategies for minimizing conflict in difficult situations, something that would definitely be found in pretty much any workplace. Techniques for joint fact-finding and interest-based negotiations, and leadership skills for addressing conflict and negotiation settings. And all of the courses in this program area focus on building consensus and equipping students to successfully navigate difficult situations. Those situations can occur in any field, and we see our conflict resolution students come from all backgrounds, and they go on to do a lot of different things with their successfully completed professional concentration. We've had some students start their own mediation practice after taking these courses. We see a lot of them take the professional concentration to get a promotion or to allow them to better do their jobs at work, whether that's something like facilitating public meetings or working with difficult stakeholders. We also saw one of our students take the professional concentration to help with raising their teenage children. These sorts of conflicts that our program can help you address will show up in any field, in any setting, both personal and professional. And we really enjoy seeing such a wide variety of students coming into this program. And like all of our courses at CPE, the instructors in our conflict resolution program are practitioners in the field. So you are benefiting from their experience and lessons learned. And you get to hear their tips and tricks that they've acquired from years in their practice. And it's a lot more helpful, our students have said, than just getting advice from somebody who doesn't have practical experience in the field. So the professional concentration that we offer, and I've mentioned this a few times, so I wanted to clear this up in case you had any questions about it. And also, if you do have questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A box or the chat box. We've got time at the end dedicated for Q&A, but it's good to take advantage of those tools if you do have a question now, because I might answer it as we get through, or I don't want it to slip from your mind, and then after the info session, you're thinking, oh, rats, I should have asked that. So go ahead and feel free to use the chat box or the Q&A if you do have something come up. But getting into our professional concentration, this is an alternative to a certificate program like what you might see in other institutions or even in other program areas within continuing and professional education. The professional concentration offers an accelerated educational path that's designed to get you trained and back to work quickly so that you can start applying these skills and keep moving forward with your career. We recognize that not everybody has the time to commit to a years-long certificate program, and a professional concentration is a much quicker approach that a lot of students have found really valuable. It consists of 3 required courses. There's Introduction to Conflict Resolution, Fundamental Conflict Resolution Skills, and Advanced Conflict Resolution Skills, all offered once each year. And these courses are all 2 academic units. That means they're graded with points assigned for participation and quizzes, and then there's a final assignment. And with these 3 courses, I've got it on there that it can be completed in 1 year. Technically, you can do it in as few as 9 months. There's no strict rule about getting it done as quickly as possible, or even about taking the courses in order. We do recommend that they could be taken in this order on the screen here, just so that the concepts build neatly on one another. But some of our students do take these courses out of order, and we do required that you complete the professional concentration within 5 years of starting it, just so that when we issue you your final certificate, we know that you've been taking courses that are consistent with the courses as they were academically approved. These courses are all run through the UC Davis Academic Senate for approval and sponsored by a department on campus. So we need to make sure that what we are certifying you completed is consistent with what was approved at that point. And the courses here that we have listed, the full cost for the program is $2,285. And we don't change our course fees pretty often, so you can count on that being consistent for a little while here. All right, I do see some questions coming into the Q&A box, but these ones are actually kind of relevant for right now, so I'll get to these at the moment. So we've got a question from Chantal: can these be combined to obtain a full certificate? So if you're referring to something like the longer certificate programs that we offer in other program areas, we don't currently offer a full certificate in professional concentration. But since these courses are academically approved by the Academic Senate, there is the possibility that you could take them to a different institution and get credit for them. That would be up to the receiving institution. So at the moment at UC Davis, CPE, no, but we're also looking at expanding this professional concentration into a full certificate within the next few years. So not with us right now, but possibly elsewhere, or possibly with us in the future. I hope that answered your question, but go ahead and add to the chat box or the Q&A feature if you are still wondering about that. And we also have a question here from Jeff: is there a certificate of completion of the program? For all of our courses, we offer the ability to receive a letter that states you successfully completed the course. That's what a lot of students use for their employers or to get reimbursement for individual courses. But after completing all of the 3 courses in the professional concentration, we do issue students a certificate stating that they completed the required courses and that they have completed the professional concentration in this program area. Hopefully that answered that question. Again, feel free to add to the chat box if you've got other questions on that. Moving forward. And in addition to the professional concentration and conflict resolution, we do have other courses. These are optional and not included within the professional concentration. Last year, we ran conflict resolution skills for the workplace. We saw a number of employees actually coming from the same sorts of businesses, like businesses representing groups of employees, to all take that together. And it was nice to see a whole bunch of different fields represented at that course. And later this year, we'll be offering managing and resolving conflict in the virtual world. And that's a new course developed in response to the altered work environment that many of us are seeing as a result of the pandemic. And that's something that we are always paying attention to. So we're keeping an eye on trends and survey responses, and especially student inquiries, to see where we need to be developing new courses so that our course offerings are always relevant and of interest to our students. These optional courses that we offer are non-academic, so they're not graded. They don't have anything other than continuing education credits, and they are scheduled throughout the year. So they'll be the courses that I mentioned here, that conflict resolution skills for the workplace was a winter course last year, and the managing and resolving conflict in a virtual world is also scheduled for this year's winter quarter, but these ones are not on as set of a timetable as the academic courses. And speaking of that timetable, I do have a list up here of how our courses are offered throughout the year. The required courses for the professional concentration are offered once per year. Introduction is scheduled in fall, fundamental is scheduled for winter, and advanced conflict resolution skills is scheduled for spring. And these courses are offered once per year, but they do have we do consistently repeat them year after year in this same time frame. So that's something that you can use for planning purposes if you're not planning on taking them all in one fell swoop and doing it all in just 9 months. And as I mentioned, the optional courses that we offer, the non-academic ones, are offered on a variable schedule throughout the year. And at the moment, all of these courses are offered online. In non-pandemic times, traditionally what we've done with these courses is for the introduction to conflict resolution as an online course, and then the fundamental and advanced courses offered in person. And due to the pandemic, we're offering all of them online this year, and we expect in future years to offer a mix of online and in-person offerings for the fundamental and the advanced conflict resolution skills courses. That is subject to change depending on public health guidelines and student and instructor safety. And moving on, we'd like to give you a quick tour of our online course. And this is, we're gonna go take a look at the Introduction to Conflict Resolution course. And I'll pull that up here. Let me get to a different share screen. All right, here we go. So you should be seeing the Introduction to Conflict Resolution course. This is actually the course that we offered earlier this year, or late 2020, last year. Still not getting used to that. But when you get into the course objectives, the syllabus, that's all listed right here on the homepage, so that when you get in, you have a quick summary right at hand to see what is expected of you and keep on track of deadlines, upcoming assignments, and that sort of thing. And a quick note about this, we use Canvas as our online learning platform, and it's got a lot of helpful tools built into it already. So when a professor or when an instructor sends out announcements or emails to the class, all of that is handled through Canvas. When we have live Zoom meetings, those are also handled directly within Canvas. So you won't need to have a separate account or anything, and you won't need to keep track of meeting invitations. They're all linked directly in the course calendar. And getting into the actual course content, we've got all of the materials listed on our modules page. So it's really easy for you to keep track of where you are, what your next pieces are in the course, and be able to get back to information that you might want to review in an easy fashion. I wanted to show you a little bit of one of our video lectures here. And this course is a fully produced online course, so it's got voiceover with text, and we've got the PDF transcripts of the lectures available, an audio version if that's what you prefer. And you can also follow the transcript along as you watch the video and listen to it. So I'm going to take a minute here to play this. I'm going to make sure that this is going to share the computer sound. This is about a 2-minute clip, and I'll go through it just so that you can get a feel of what this course is like.
So let's start off with the word itself, conflict. And I want you to think about it. When I think about the word conflict, what comes up for you? Do you have a physical response? Do you feel a little tighter in some part of your body? But do you have a mental picture of how it might look? Does it look stressful? Does it make you think of international actions against people? Does it make you think of things that have happened with your family or someone you love or someone you work with? So I want you to notice, and that's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to change something. I want you to pay attention to how you have a response to something, because at some point it'll be helpful to see that you're having a response to something, because that may be a signal that you might not be the best match, or that there's some things you might need to do going into a situation so that you are a more appropriate third party coming into something. So, awareness is really what we're going for here. And a lot of people typically have, I want to use the term negative, they have a picture around conflict that's problematic. They consider it a barrier. And I want you to at least consider the possibility that it's also a place where there's tremendous growth, where there's something that comes through and you have a opportunity, or people in the room have an opportunity to see something they never saw before that would not have been present without this potential quote conflict.
All right. And you can see that we do have a number of different portions within each module. These are all voiced over with a transcript available. And we try to make these accessible for students. So again, this Canvas platform is an easy tool to navigate through. And in case our students do have issues, we always have help features available. We've got a help desk. They're very responsive. So if there are issues that come up, our help desk is always able to assist. I'm going to get back to the PowerPoint over here. All right, and you should be seeing back to PowerPoint, hopefully. If you're seeing something entirely different, please drop a note in the chat box. But I'm gonna keep moving through here. All right, so we've gone through a little bit about our programs. We've taken a quick tour of an online course, learned a little bit about CPE. It's time for one more poll. It'd be helpful to get a bit of information from you. I'm going to put this next poll up, and it'd be nice to learn what you're talking about programs. Are you thinking that you're ready to roll? Do you need a little bit of time to think about it? Do you still have some lingering questions? Are you not sure if these programs meet your needs? It would be good to know kind of where you stand on things right now. I'll leave this up for a few more seconds here. All right, thanks for your responses here, folks. So what I'm seeing is we have some people who are ready to enroll. That's great. I will put the link to our courses and registration in the chat box in a little bit here. And I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming class. There are some of you who need some time to think about it, and I totally understand. This is it's a big decision to enroll in courses, especially if you're considering a career change. And please let us know if there's anything that we can do to provide more information that would be helpful for you. I'm going to have our whole group email address in the or on the slide coming up in a minute here, and I'd really like to, if you've got lingering questions about that, or you just as you're cogitating on our courses and our programs, if something comes up, please go ahead and let me know. Looks like a few of you are not sure if these programs meet your needs, and that's totally understandable. Our programs are not always the right fit for everyone's situation, but hopefully we do have something that would work for you. And There's some of you who still have some lingering questions, which is great because we have question and answer time coming on up. And I do see some questions in the Q&A and the chat, so I'll get to those in just a few minutes here. But briefly, I want to go into a few things that we have available for our students. So we do have discounts that we offer for our courses, and you can learn more about these on our website, but a few that I'm going to highlight here. Members of the Cal Aggie Alumni Association enjoy $50 off our courses, and this is actually a reciprocal benefit that extends to members of all UC alumni associations. So if you went to a different UC and you're a member of their alumni association, you will also get this benefit. We give a 10% discount to our professional partners and also to groups of 3 or more enrolling in the same class at the same time with the same payment method. That's a lot of at the same things, but if you have a number of coworkers or some friends and you're thinking about enrolling in a course together, make sure you coordinate so that you can get that 10% discount. And if you have questions about that or other discounts that are available, our student services office is always able to assist with those. And we also offer for attendees of our information sessions, which are all of you, we offer a $100 off coupon toward you're good for your first course. So this isn't unfortunately good for returning students, but for all of those of you who are new to CPE, this is a discount code that you will get that can be used toward your first course. And we'll be including this in the confirmation email after the info session concludes today. We're back to this poll. I'm not sure how we got back to here, but we already got through these. So thank you all again for your responses to there. Sorry to have this come back up again. But for those of you who were at, I have some lingering questions, now is our time to get to those. So I'm going to pull up the Q&A box here because I know that I have seen a few come in. Let me take a minute to look through these. Okay, so we have a question here from Chantal. It says, I think it was mentioned that introduction to conflict resolution isn't required. So does that mean an alternative course would need to be taken to fulfill the professional program? So for our professional concentration and conflict resolution, there are the 3 required courses. An introduction to conflict resolution is one of those required courses. And I'm not sure about substituting an alternative course, but we don't offer different courses that could be substituted for any of those 3 required courses. But if you've got specific questions about your individual situation, that might be something that I can answer better over email with a bit more information. But go ahead and add to the chat box or send me an email if that didn't fully answer that. Let's see. We have a question here from Sarah. The cost of optional courses is in addition to the $22.85, correct? And do the optional courses require that you take the required courses first? No, that is a great question here. So the full cost of our required courses is $2,285. The optional courses are separate, and you can complete all of those required courses for the professional concentration entirely without doing any of the optional courses. Those are really offered as professional development opportunities for anyone, not just our professional concentration students. So a lot of students that we see coming through take 1 or 2 of the optional courses, and they don't even take any of the full any of the courses in the professional concentration. We also see some students take just 1 or 2 of the courses, like the introduction or the fundamental skills course, without doing the full professional concentration. We do think that it is most valuable for students to do all 3, just because the skills do build really nicely on one another, but you don't need to take any of the required courses before taking the optional ones. And just another note about that, the required courses that we do offer, they are longer ones because they're 2 academic units. The optional courses that we offer, those are in the classroom environment. They're like a one-day course. So typically those will be open online for a much shorter time period, and they'll be a much lower commitment level than the required academic courses. They also have a comparable cost structure for a lot of our other one-day non-academic courses. Most of those courses that we offer are in the $360 range, and that's consistent with what we do for the managing and resolving conflict in the virtual world, or the conflict resolution skills for the environment courses. So I hope that answered your question, Sarah, but if not, go ahead and add to the chat box or the Q&A feature. All right. And I apologize, with working from home, there's sometimes background noise that comes in, so hopefully that's not too distracting. All right. We have someone asked, what specific competencies can participants expect to gain through the courses? And I'm going to actually get into, I know that I can answer this through a lot of different words, but if you are like me and it's helpful to also see these words coming up, I'm gonna scroll back through some slides to have a visual aid here. So as I mentioned, with our different all the different courses that we offer, we really try for getting people hands-on skills that they can use in their professional or personal lives. So for specific competencies, these vary by individual course, but over all of our different courses, there's an emphasis on the theory of conflict resolution and best approaches for mediating conflicts, and including techniques to use in those sorts of situations. There's a lot of focus on facilitation skills, since that's an arena in which a lot of people use these skills that we cover in these courses. So for that sort of topic, it would be things like how to include different members in a meeting so that everybody feels heard, developing an agenda that will be inclusive and respectful of different opinions. There's strategies for minimizing conflict in difficult situations. So that would be de-escalation, careful listening, a lot of other skills that the instructors would be better able to speak to, as they are the ones with the direct experience in that field. In some of our courses, there's techniques for joint fact-finding and interest-based negotiation. So if there's something that you are called into in a professional setting and you need to talk to each party to get more information about a conflict, those are skills that are addressed in these courses. And additionally, leadership skills. So these are all different things that the instructors are better able to speak to kind of how students will be developing those skills in a course. But for each course, there's an emphasis on going over the theory of it, background reading, talking about examples and scenarios, and then giving students the opportunity to apply those skills either in small group discussions or in independent assignments that they then report back to the class on. There's a lot of emphasis on practicing these things so that students will be able to successfully demonstrate them back in their personal or professional lives and outside of the course setting. We have a question here from Alex about, will a mediation course be considered to be offered in 2021? We don't have our full course schedules set for 2021 yet. Oh, and I just realized I'm still on a previous slide, so I'm going to get back to here. So we don't have our all of our courses offered in 2021 set yet, but the mediation course is something that we will be looking at. I know that we've been receiving a lot of inquiries about that one, and while we don't have plans for it in the next few months, it's definitely something that we will add to our list. At the moment, I'm not sure if that one will be offered in 2021, but I know that, Alex, you are not the only person who has asked about that one, so we'll take a look at that. And that's actually something that I did want to point out If you've been looking around at our website and you've found some courses that are um, not currently scheduled, there is a notify me feature on our website. So if you're looking through and you see mediation course or something else that isn't currently scheduled, but you would like to be notified when it is next open for registration, you can click that notify me button, add your contact information, and then you'll receive an automatic notification when it is next scheduled. So if you are trying to do some planning, but you don't want to have to keep checking our website every week, I totally understand. We will take care of that little reminder feature for you. So I'll put a link to that in the chat box as well once we get through a few more questions here. All right, and a question here from Jeff. What's the typical time commitment for each course per week? So the courses, the required courses have slightly different schedules. And for the Introduction to Conflict Resolution course, that one is open usually through mid-October through early December. And there's a few hours per week that is expected. And that can be a mix of reading background materials or commenting on fellow students' discussion posts, engaging in the discussion boards, watching different materials that the instructor has posted, doing some outside of the classroom practice of your skills and reporting back to students on how that goes. So usually a few hours per week for that introduction course. Um, the fundamental and advanced courses have a slightly different timetable because traditionally they have been offered as in-person courses over a period of 3 days typically. And so the way that we've adapted those to an online course is to have them open for about 3 weeks, and that is subject to change. But still, it's a few hours per week, a bit more concentrated than the introduction course, just because the course is conducted over a shorter time frame. But still plan on a few hours per week. And this is something where having access to stable internet is going to be really helpful, and being able to carve out the time to work on the materials is going to be really helpful. We do try to keep the synchronous components of these courses to a minimum, just because we know that everyone has a lot of stuff going on right now, and carving that time out of your workday for a meeting during the workday, if you are in a 9-to-5 job, that can be difficult for people. So for the introduction course, for example, the required meetings are outside of normal business hours, to allow people who maybe can't take time out of the workday to complete those meetings. And we do try for the fundamental and the advanced courses to minimize the disruption to the work day. And the rest of the course components, things like discussion boards and assignments and that sort of thing, can all be completed on your own schedule outside of the normal workday, as long as they are turned in and completed by the stated due dates. Other questions in Jeff's question here. Do students have access to course materials indefinitely, similar to a hard copy book, lecture notes, etc., so that we can review in years after we complete the course? For the online courses, we do not offer indefinite access to the materials, unfortunately. I know that that is something that that can be helpful, but we do have access to the course materials closed. The PDFs of the transcripts and all of those sorts of text materials can be downloaded for later use. And we do, whenever there are independent reading assignments that the instructors provide, those are all things that can be downloaded as well. And to answer this question for when we return to the classroom environment, whenever that will be, in those settings, we do provide a hard copy text to have all of that material available in one convenient resource for you. And then another question on there, how big of an issue practically would it be to take fundamentals before intro? Yeah, so if you would like to start as soon as possible and not wait until fall, you are definitely welcome to do that. It would just be a matter of registering for the fundamentals course, and then completing the advanced and the introduction courses on your or on the time frame that works best for you. So at the moment, if you are ready to sign up and you're looking at our course list online, we do have the fundamentals course open for registration. That'll be coming up in March. And we don't have our advanced course on the calendar yet, but we do have the fall 2021 introduction course open for registration that is online at the moment. So I will again add those links to the chat box here in a few minutes. And thank you for your patience with this. It's hard to go making sure I put the correct URL in the chat box when I'm trying to answer questions. So thank you all for your understanding here. So Jeff, I hope I answered all of those questions. If you have more or if you need clarification, go ahead and add more to the chat box or the Q&A. And we do have one from Faye. What would be considered as professional partners? So does other higher education institutions be them? So we have arrangements with some of our instructors occasionally for, if they have got work, for some instructors, if they have coworkers that they are looking to train, that they can take courses as well, or take courses with a discount. But for professional partners, higher education institutions may apply. I would need to know more about your individual situation before I could answer that specifically. So that would be something where an email would probably be really helpful in letting me answer that more specifically for your situation. And that's also a question where if you're not able to get a hold of me, or you are about to sign up for a course and you want to know if this discount would apply, that's something that could definitely be directed to our student services office. I will add their phone number to the chat box as well. All right, and Alex, it's good to know that you are very interested in the mediation program. I'll make sure to add that one to our list to consider for 2021. We have been getting a lot of interest about that. So it would be nice to get that one kind of off a whole bunch of people's to-do lists. And Jeff, glad I was able to answer your questions. If you have additional questions, please add them into the Q&A feature or the chat box. I will be on for a little while here longer. And another thing to note, I am happy to send questions off to our instructors if you have something about the specific content of a course. If you send me an email, I can definitely field that over to an instructor, or if it's something more specific to our programs in general, to a different colleague who could be able to answer those. So please don't feel like you have to ask just the more general questions. If you've got something specific, go ahead and send an email and I will pass it along to whoever could best answer. And I'm going to take a minute to add a whole bunch of things to the chat box, so keep an eye on that. And I'll keep an eye on the Q&A feature and the chat box as well, in case anything else comes up. But if you are looking at the time and you realize, oh goodness, I need to take off here, thank you for joining us. It's been great to have so many interested potential students in our info session today. I really appreciate all the questions that you had. And again, if you have more questions come up, please send an email. I would be more than happy to either address them via email or arrange a time to chat on the phone if you've got specific questions about our courses, our programs, or the different options that we offer to our students. So with that, I'm going to take a minute to put some links into the chat box here. And if you have questions, go ahead and send them in. All right, I'm going to be putting a few in here. So the link to our main conflict resolution program is in the chat box, and that's where you can find all of our upcoming courses, information about the professional concentration, and a lot of other things. Or specific courses that are offered or at that link that's right there. Through that, you can find the courses that are currently open for enrollment. And if you scroll down, you can see all of the courses that are not currently scheduled. And that's where you can find that notify me feature that I mentioned. So if you are seeing something in here that you think, ooh, I would really like to sign up for that one, go ahead and click the notify me button, and we will get a notification that there are students interested in this one. And then when we next schedule it, you will get an email that there's an opportunity to enroll in that course. There's a number of other things on that page that may be helpful for students looking at our courses. There's the link to the professional concentration program information, and I'll add that in here. There's also on here a link to a testimonial from one of our students who completed the professional concentration in the last few years, and I'll add that in here as well. And that student spoke to how she was able to use her professional concentration to advance her career and to better be able to do her job. She works with difficult stakeholders and facilitating public meetings that get a little bit angry sometimes. So it was great to hear how she's been able to apply that. And another helpful link that I want to make sure you have, if you are one of those people who is ready to go ahead and get started, there's the application on our website to actually get started with the professional concentration. And this is a quick step that just attaches the professional concentration to your student profile, so that when you do complete all 3 of the required courses, it's easy for you to then click the, all right, I'm done, print me a little certificate button, and that will be, that's in the chat box. So if you've got, if you are all set to sign up for the professional concentration, that is right there for you. All right, and a question here from Faye. If you are looking to register for multiple courses, you can register from more than one at the same time. Unfortunately, you are limited to registering for the courses that we have currently scheduled. So if, for example, you were looking to take both the fundamentals course that is offered in March and then the introduction course that is offered in later in fall, in this case in October, you could register for both of those at the same time. The only course that isn't open for registration at the current time is the Advanced Conflict Resolution Skills, and that one will be coming up in the next few weeks for spring quarter. But you wouldn't be able to sign up for all 3 at the current time. And I do apologize for that. We're working on getting that up for you as soon as possible. And another question about how do we apply the coupon to get the discount? In the checkout process, once you have started to register for a course, you should see an option to add in a coupon code. So I'll be following up from this webinar with a recording to the video if you have questions you'd like to review, and also to we will include in that email the coupon code to get your $100 off your first course. That coupon code you can then add into your cart when you are completing your registration. And if you run into questions or problems with this, I encourage you to talk to our student services people. They are the ones who are very skilled at resolving all sorts of registration and enrollment questions. And so if you are running into problems with getting that discount applied for a course, go ahead and reach out to them. And I will add their information here. Let's see. Okay, so here is our student services website, and the if you have a specific question for them and you'd like to just call them directly, their phone number is also in the chat box there. And Faye, getting back to your question about professional partners, uh, if it's a partnering educational institution, we may be able to extend that professional partner discount. That usually applies to employees of the companies or the firms that our instructors work with. But if you go ahead and send me information about your specific situation, I could answer that a little bit better over email or over the phone. And at the moment, I don't see any additional questions in the chat box, but I'll go ahead and stick around for a few more minutes if you have other questions. And if not, all right, there we go. If you don't have other questions, thank you for joining us. Please feel free to send an email if other questions do come up. We would love to assist. And I really look forward to seeing you in one of our upcoming courses soon. We've got fundamental conflict resolution skills coming up in March. Introduction is scheduled for October. We'll have advanced in there as well. And thank you again for joining us. I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming course. I'll stick around for just another minute or two in case other questions come up, but have a good rest of your day. All right, I'll close off here. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your day.